So how you guys like the East Coast so far?
Not as good as San Francisco.
The bangers out here aren't as fanatic.
They're not bangers. They're fucking. They don't bang as. They don't get in fucking mob and bang. You know, like in Frisco.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of, bangers, but they don't really get into it. Hello.
So how have the gigs gone on so far that you guys have been doing?
It gets better every gig. You know, we've, like the lineup changed last 2 weeks ago and shit. Kind of fucked things up for a little while, but things are getting tight now and going in the right direction.
The gig at the showplace didn't go too well. He'd only been playing, with the band for
5 days.
Yeah, well, free practices actually. 3 or 4.
That was a show with Anthrax?
Yeah, last week. But
So,
a couple of years it should be tight. Hopefully.
So how do the East Coast audiences differ from the West Coast? Don't bang as much?
Yeah, they're not as fucking fanatic. Well, I mean, they're just not as crazy. Fucking out there in San Francisco, the first 10 rows is just hair and sweat and bobbing heads.
Yeah, they're like
and craziness, man.
Bobbing,
It's almost like punk gigs.
Almost.
Like really fucking, they're all over each other and shit.
Here's
So standing around, but maybe that's because we've only played, a few gigs and people still kind of checking us out. Out there, it's more like home turf,
Yeah, LA was the fucking worst.
Oh yeah, let's
No
not even
bangers
get
at
into
all,
LA.
all fucking posers.
Well, we could never really play a good gig in LA because there just weren't that kind of people.
Okay, so what basically provoked the split with Dave?
It'd been in the can for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was something that we weren't in a hurry to get it happening. It was just, we were just gonna wait around and maybe someday we would find somebody that would fit the spot, It wasn't like we were gonna go looking for guitars, and audition one and, take up a whole bunch of, time like that and just, try and audition people. So we would just hang on, and when we found somebody that we thought would fit in,
So we wouldn't have any idle time,
Yeah.
Trying people out.
But then, kind of on the way, on the big continental trek between San Francisco and New York, things kind of, they spilled over. There was kind of a couple of things happened and it became too much. The guy couldn't control himself under various situations where he had to, and it just didn't, on a long-term basis, in a couple of years or something, it could, become real problems. So we decided, I think it was between Iowa and Chicago or something, that we would. God, some shit happened.
That pushed it over the top.
So we decided,
driving, just totally drunk, driving the U-Haul, and he could have smashed, and we could have got killed,
You got in a fight with Mark Whitaker?
Yeah. So we decided then that whenever there was a good opportunity to get rid of him, that we would do it because we had a whole schedule lined up of gigs and the album and stuff, right? And then we came out here and said that to Johnny. At that time, we already had the guy Kirk Hammet from Exodus in mind.
Yeah, he had a tape and everything. He was studying.
Yeah. But we didn't know when we would be able to fit him in the schedule. And then we came out here and sat down and told Johnny that this was what was going on. And then he said that it would be best to make that lineup change as early as possible, so the album would be real tight and shit. So the last gig we did with Dave was at the Ross 2 weeks ago tonight. And then we fucked around on Sunday. Monday morning we woke him up, told him, and he was on a bus out of here an hour later.
Yeah, that was real funny.
And then Kurt flew in the same night from San Francisco.
So Exodus is from the Bay Area as well?
Yeah, they're good friends of ours in San Francisco.
So you knew him for...
Oh yeah, we played, I think, three gigs with him over the last 6 months, and we hang out with them, and they're good. They're like the only other, kind of as intense metal as we are.
Yeah.
They're not as tight and experienced and shit like that. but they're in the right direction. Have you heard any of their material?
No.
Good songs.
But,
Haven't heard any of their
but
demos.
Kirk was the whole band, so now I guess they're kind of.
So how old is Kirk?
He's 20, and
Was
things
Exodus
are good.
his first band that did anything?
His first band, yeah.
Told me, he was in a lot of garage bands, just like
Party
everybody.
bands.
Everybody's gone through that stage.
So now that Dave's left, is this going to delay the release of the album or the recording of the album?
No,
Or
not at all. We're going in the studio in Rochester, in the same studio as the Rots and Manowar did their album. We're going in there May 10th, and
Recording in a big ballroom, like.
yeah, so we get the
real
good live sound,
Real
real good live sound, and
studio sounds.
we got 2.5 weeks to do that because we know all the songs, and it's not like we have to go in the studio and write or anything, so we can knock it down real
so
fast.
basically the songs that are going to be on the album is a lot of
It's
your demo
what, yeah.
tracks?
It's every demo song you've heard.
Yeah.
We're just gonna,
They'll rearrange some of the
Yeah.
songs, add some parts.
we're just gonna, the songs, the first 9 songs on the first album, and the next 9 songs will be the second album, because every song we have, we feel is good enough to be put on an album. It's not like we have any filler tracks or anything. So every song that we do, we want to have on vinyl. So the first album is going to be the 7 songs from the No Life to Leather, plus No Remorse and Whiplash. But there's a lot of, for people that have only heard, the No Life to Leather and hasn't seen us like at live and shit, there's a lot of changes and fucking, add-on parts and rearranging and shit like that. So the songs will be kind of fresh,
Yeah, more intense, more.
So who's going to be producing the album?
A guy named Chris Babish. He did the Rots and the Manowar albums up there too, and we've heard, their albums and shit like that. And he's got a good enough sound and a good enough financial situation happening where it's going to work out pretty good. We were talking with Krista Sangaritas, but he wanted up in the neighborhood of 40 grand, which is a lot for a band of our stature right now.
We ain't got shit.
Hopefully he's our choice producer, and hopefully we'll be able to work with him, on the second or third album. But I guess like most bands like Anvil and shit like that, we just have to be patient with our first album. Just make the best of it.
So what's the title of the album?
Metal Up Your Ass. That's kind of, as you probably noticed by now, the line that goes with this band more or less for right now.
So when will you guys be going back to the West Coast?
To play or what?
Well, are you
We're
going to be
going
living
back
out
there.
here permanently, or are you?
No, we're still.
When are you moving
we're
back?
No, we're still totally based in San Francisco. We're a San Francisco-based band, and what we're doing out here is just, road work, whatever you want to call it. We'll be going back to the Bay Area as soon as we've recorded the album, just to, relax and shit for a couple of weeks, and then we should be coming back out here to start an East Coast tour in July and August, something like that. But we won't be playing live back in San Francisco for a long time. Probably until, late this fall or something. But we're still totally based in San Francisco, and that's our
So
home base. And
So you just as soon scratch LA from your record?
oh, LA is not associated with Metallica at all anymore whatsoever. No ties, no nothing.
So is there any tour plans in the can as far as like promoting the album, besides like, the shows you're going to be doing out on the East Coast?
Well,
Has John
that's
set up anything,
Well, we were invited to do the some stuff, the Aardschok Festival in Holland with Venom and Fate and shit. But it might be better to, it will be better to go to Europe after the album's been out for a bit, so we can cause.
So they really want to see us bad,
Because if we go there like the same week the album might not even be out by middle of June. That's not too happening. Because there's only so many people that are into fucking tapes and shit.
They'll get it. They'll get the album like that.
Yeah, but there'll be a lot more people that will reach, through vinyl that we can't get through tapes.
It'll take a while to get it around.
So hopefully we'll be going to Europe this fall. Right now there's real good relationship with Venom in terms of management and between the bands and stuff. We're working things out really good between us, so we might maybe do some stuff in England with Venom if they can, get off their ass and do more than one gig every 5 years.
So is there any way that John's will be able to release your album in Europe, or is it just going to be imported?
No, right now we're looking for the best deal that we can get for domestic vinyl in Europe. We got Neat Records that are very interested. As you know, Johnny's doing some stuff with the Neat bands in America, and he's gotten the guy from Neat Records very interested in releasing the Metal Up Your Ass album on Neat Records in England. The only problem is the money situation we don't really know too much about yet, so there's also a couple other labels that are interested. Food for Thought, which did the fucking Talus album, which are, just doing pretty good in England right now. They're interested too, and so we'll see what happens. But it's definitely going to be domestic, and also some shit in Japan happening with Colombia and Japan, which is really good. Johnny's setting up.
So I take it Cliff's working out pretty well.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Best bass player I've ever worked with. He's really talented.
I mean,
Bach a lot. He listens to a lot of Bach. He's
classical.
He's
a lot of
got
CC Top. He's really musical fucking.
He's not really
genius.
limited. He's just fucking.
Yeah.
He's great. He's a great guy too. He's so laid back.
Yeah.
He's real easy to get along with.
So you guys think you're even faster now with Cliff?
I wouldn't say faster. I'd say a lot heavier. Fuck yeah, he's got.
There's a whole different bottom end to
his sound. Is
the whole sound.
Real good. It flows Ron's sound away. Ron was he was shit. I taught him how to play. I taught him how to play bass. We needed a bass player in my old band, so I taught him how to play.
He's just a friend of yours, more or less.
Yeah.
So were you guys surprised to see that full color page shot in Kerrang?
Oh yeah.
Kind of, because, I mean, if we had sent him something, it was kind of weird because that picture was taken fucking about 8-10 months ago, when the first ever San Francisco gig we did. And, it was just really
one show at the Waldorf. I talked to him for a while, and he wanted to, get us in there, and, I don't think that was because of him, though. I don't know.
No. But, see, then after we got the fucking, the shot in Kerrang and stuff, we sent him some promo shit and announced, for the Mayhem section that we're coming out to America and all, to the East Coast and all that shit, So hopefully there'll be something happening there in like maybe the next issue or something.
Yeah, that wasn't much of a write-up, really, though. It's kind of just more like.
Oh, that was
LA
more a
scene.
compilation of LA.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was good too that I mentioned that now we've moved to San Francisco.
Yeah.
So we don't get associated with fucking LA. Too much more.
I don't know what metal is. They really don't. Confused, I think.
Yeah, I guess, they dress up in the studs and whatever just as a, more or less a fad.
Yeah.
And they're not really
Just
into it like the.
Just to fit in with everybody.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a walking freak show. They'll see you can put the most shit on just so everybody will look at them, Fuck. It's not, it's not metal at all. I think metal's, gotta have hair 3 feet high and spikes all over your body.
Right. Like the Wild Dogs album cover.
Yeah.
I mean.
That's real funny.
Wild Dogs.
So what do you guys think of Kerrang in general?
It's going real downhill.
Worse.
Real downhill.
It was real good.
First issue was almost good. And the second issue with Richie on the cover was, of course, God. But, I mean, since that fucking strike happened or whatever, something happened around, I think, issue 5 or something. Like, they started fucking taking articles from Record Mirror and shit like that. Since then, it's just gone totally steadily downhill. And, it's
It
just...
used to be real metal, now it's got all kinds of crap in it.
Yeah, it's so fucking... It's just so widespread. It's just fucking, for kids to jump on
It's
it.
still okay, The last issue wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Last issue wasn't too bad. I don't even read Sounds anymore. I fucking bought every fucking issue of Sounds for 3 years, and now it's just... Sounds is getting so shitty, too. It's a whole new format, and it's really weird.
Really, anything that Sound's going to have, Kerrang's going to have just about anyway now.
The only problem is that Sounds, Kerrang is 3 issues, this is what I heard, 3 issues ahead of themselves. So, like, if something happened, like, today, it will be in 3 issues and 3 issues down the line of Kerrang, which would be 6 weeks. And Sounds would have it next week. Oh.
Yay! Get rear-ended. This stupid fucker on this side laid back.
He just fucking came right on up.
Yeah, freak.
Welcome to New York, New Jersey,
Wherever the fuck we are.
So, are you guys impressed with like the underground, the metal underground following around the world and shit? I mean, because a lot of people know about you guys.
It's been real good. I mean, that's why it's. I mean, that's why we're so happening.
All over the place.
It's because of that whole underground. Yeah,
from
that's.
Holland though.
Holland is crazy.
Yeah, real metal over there.
With Aardschach, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like you guys got voted something.
Number
second
most
best.
promising band.
31 overall.
Yeah, it's really wild.
But that whole underground scene is, I mean, it's the sole reason why we're doing so good.
Oh yeah.
Because,
it's
I
pretty
mean, if that
intense
whole
in the
scene
States
wasn't,
as well.
I mean, if you think about 5 years ago, there wasn't any scene like that. The only bands you'd heard of were bands that have, 5 albums out, I mean, it's amazing that we could do so good on just a fucking tape. It's really funny in that Kick-Ass Monthly, you seen the new issue?
Yeah.
Had a line that was really funny. We were the biggest band in the world without any vinyl.
Oh yeah?
Funny line.
It's a good bag.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's real meaty. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It doesn't have a lot of like photos and bullshit, but it's got a lot more meat. Just basic down to fucking earth interviews and shit, Instead of
Hardcore
fucking big
interviews.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just the basic.
Yeah, When did you form the band?
That's about the only fanzine out here on the East Coast, really, that I've seen anyway.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
really seen many.
Whereas like out in
There's a lot.
California,
Oh,
you
yeah,
got
there's a
a
lot.
dozen,
There's metal, fucking.
which it can get a little overkill after a while if everybody's putting the same stuff,
Yeah. Plus, a lot of time with fancy and shit, they tend to have like news and stuff that's only been out for 3 years, Yeah, Verrazano Bridge, man. 13.
Your lucky number, huh?
Yeah, like they'll pull shit out of other magazines and print it up.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's it.
Anything else you guys want to, add that I haven't covered?
Got any more beer?
Well, I don't know what to say. If I had a few more beers, I might think so. I don't know.
So how did it go, like, as far as the working relationship with Venom last night's show? They
Good.
give you everything you wanted as far as...
we've never played with a band that was bigger than us. They were so fucking friendly.
Oh yeah.
Really, this whole week we've had a real close working relationship and hung out a bit together.
They'll help you out. Like Vandenberg, they'd be totally against you.
Yeah.
Can I move this? No, it's got to be there. You can't do this, you can't do that. Fuck, Venom.
Or even with
Saxon,
Saxon,
when
we played with Saxon, they fucking had about 2 feet or something in front of the drums.
God, it was terrible.
What is this?
They didn't even say hello. They didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
Saxon wasn't friendly at all.
Let's see now. I guess.
55.
Let me see a beer, James.
Pull up.
See one, or you want to drink one?
He'll take a look at it.
Fucking like, I think that the lineup that we have happening now, like when me and James first got this band together, it was always like fucking Ron and Dave. It just wasn't happening. Like, when you thought ahead 5 years, you couldn't picture any of them still in the band, and now none of them are in the band.
Ron
was
actually
total
got in
outside.
because we needed a bass player, and the bass player, we auditioned about 3 bass players, and none of them were working out at all. And I lived with Ron there, so what the fuck? He's a bass player. Let's do it, But
he was always kind of the outsider, but
oh yeah, you can see in a lot of pictures. He just
it's like 3 guys and then one,
Yeah, he'd sit there and look at you, going, "What are you doing?"
Why are you making a
face?
Yeah.
He was the outcast for
But
the whole time.
even with Dave, just like I think deep inside we always thought that it wouldn't last fucking But right now, I think we're fairly confident that this lineup is gonna, stay tight for, a bit of time. I don't know how many people know this, but we've actually, been looking for a singer for about a year or something now.
That's what I heard.
And we still haven't been able to find anybody that we thought would fit what we're doing and, shit like that. We have one guy that we've been trying to scam on for a long time, but he won't do it yet. We tried getting Cliff for 4 months too before we got him, so we're still keeping our hopes up. But have you heard of a band called Armored Saint?
Mm-hmm. Got the demo.
Yeah, we're trying to.
Oh, yeah.
The singer from Armored Saint is the
He's
singer
got
we
an
want in
excellent
this
voice.
band. Well, you should. His voice doesn't even. His stage presence, he'd freak out, man.
Yeah, they're real banging.
Especially fucking him, because he looks like he almost means it.
Yeah,
which is
there's
real
a lot
good.
of bands that's force banging, it's all set up,
That's not a
Hey,
feeling
we'll bang
from
on
the balls.
this part, Just like the rods, that was really fun.
But fucking this guy, he
Fucking.
really fucking means it. And he's got a real good voice, and he's real young. If in a couple of years, man, he's gonna be sounding real major.
Oh yeah.
And,
He doesn't want to leave Armored Saint though?
Well, not yet.
Supposedly has something with shrapnel.
Shrapnel.
Well, actually, we got something from them in the mail a while back, and they said they're going to release an EP on Metal Blade or whatever
I
that
doubt if that's gonna happen.
that went from.
I heard they're in the studio now doing another.
Yeah, that.
You get that on tape?
Their demo really wasn't as heavy as I expected after hearing Lesson
Oh,
Learned,
no.
But I mean, he does have.
They're
excellent
really
voice.
like fucking. A lot of their shit's really Maiden,
Yeah.
recycled.
A lot of Maiden,
Yeah.
Priest especially, a lot of Priest
Influence.
type clones.
But fucking, if you, I've been following Diamond Head for a while, right? As you probably have heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you compare, the way Sean Harris used to sound 3 years ago, I got some early tapes, right? And the way he sounds now, this guy, in 3 years or something, could be fucking real big time happening. Hopefully it will happen.
So what's your major influences then? Would you say?
What, personally or for the band or what?
Yeah, for the band sound.
For the band sound?
Mhm.
Yeah, Motorhead. I don't know, we try and be as,
Original as
and
possible.
different as possible.
Yeah, because you don't want to really sound like somebody. You have influences. You don't really want to sound. You may want
What
to
I
sound,
contribute,
but you don't want to sound like.
What I contribute most to the songwriting is arranging and shit like that. And
Yeah.
my major influence from that is Diamond Head, because I stayed with him, for 6-7 weeks 2 summers ago, and really got an insight into how they did their shit and how they worked and what kind of shit they did to try and be different and original and stuff like that. It really gave me real good, learning shit back then. Now a lot of people say they went out a bit and stuff.
Yeah, well,
I guess the only reason I still like him is because I know him. Yeah, if you compare, Call Me to Helpless or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Nice little headband.
Now let's see. If we're going to head up to Brooklyn, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
278. So, how about personally, what's
Personally,
what's
well,
your biggest
my
influence,
well, from a drummer's point of view,
Mhm, yeah.
I'd say Phil and fucking I don't really know if he's an influence in how I play, but my big idol is Ian Pace, ex-Purple, White Snake, but I think influences is fucking Phil and the guy from Diamond Head. He's not really brilliant or anything, but he does a lot of shit that I kind of picked up on, offbeat cymbal hits and shit like that.
Yeah, right. I noticed you're a lot more into just speed and working the cymbals out rather than just fills and double bass type of shit.
Well, the only reason I'm not into the double bass is because just acquired it a few.
What's that?
A few days ago.
Oh, okay. Still working on that. Huh?
Yeah. You don't want to go out and start playing double bass until you're totally confident
Oh
if you
yeah,
can, you know,
wanna
do it
pull
and shit
over.
like that. I just got that whole kit, you know, recovered and the double bass added to it when we moved to San Francisco late February. And there hasn't really been that much time to sit down by myself and just, you know, pound both of my feet, you know, on those pedals for 6 hours a day. Because we've been so busy. You know, when we moved up to San Francisco, we had to work Cliff in the band, you know, and then now we have to work Kirk in the band, you know. There's not really, there hasn't been any time to, you know, get new shit down or anything, you know, in terms of new songs and stuff, you know.
Yeah, Kirk, I definitely wouldn't say you lost any speed with getting Kirk.
Oh, no.
He's got Dave's speed, but he just, you know, Dave was all speed. He had no feeling. He had no pull-offs. He had no, you know, brilliant things, you know. He'd try and get brilliant, you know, some
But it got too
augmented
complicated.
things, and then it just sounded really awful, you know. But he's real fast. He's real talented, though. You know, I doubt he's gonna keep playing, you know.
So you think really though,
He's
Dave,
gotta,
the
like,
problem was more personal than musical?
Yeah, well, there's a bit of musical in
just
there,
a
too.
bit. I mean,
Just
you know, I mean,
the
he was
it was
sound,
more like he was playing
playing
for girls,
chicks,
to tell all his friends that he was in a band. It wasn't like this guy Kurt. I'll tell you, man. He wakes up in the morning. He just starts playing guitar.
plays.
I mean, he just
Fucking-
plays all the time. The guy plays. You know, Kurt. I mean, Dave would only play, you know, when he had to. He'd never sit down and just jam. Or it wasn't like he played guitar because he wanted and felt like playing guitar. It was more like an excuse to fucking show off or something, you know.
Yeah.
So now
Real
you got
shitty
the
attitude.
double V attack, huh?
Well,
Or what does,
Really not for long. I always liked beat. I would play. I thought, you know.
yeah, but 2 V's is.
No, I don't like it.
I don't like 2 V's. either.
Kirk used to have another guitar. It was some Star thing with an arm, and it sounded kind of crappy. So he sold it to get another Marshall cabinet. So that's why he's using that V right now. I think he's gonna get an Explorer. I think that'd be
Yeah.
real good.
Yeah.
2 V's, you know, it's real cliche.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the V is like getting to be the cliche heavy metal act.
guitar, yeah.
right.
I love it, you know. Plays great.
So, James, have you ever done much lead work then, or you just basically want to stick to rhythm?
Yeah, basically stick to rhythm. I don't know why. I like just fucking being the, you know, back line, you know. I always liked, you know,
So,
old
like-
Scorpions like Rudy Shanker, you know.
For sure.
He's rhythm god, I think, you know.
That's for sure. So, you guys have basically give up on looking for a singer then, or you mean?
No, we're just, well, right now, I mean, most of our attention, well, I can't say most of our attention, because last time we talked to him, we got a definite no. But the first 5 times we talked to Cliff, we got a definite no too, you know.
Yeah.
So we're still
It makes you mad. You know?
We're still hoping that we will end up getting him, but you know we're still keeping our doors open for a singer.
Yeah.
But it's
you
not
wanna
like
get this
some
album
people out
done.
here-
yeah. I mean it's not like we're gonna delay the album or anything
Yeah.
like that until we find a
There's
singer.
about 3 people out here that Johnny's hooked up
Yeah.
with that want to try out, you know, but we haven't got around to it.
Because you know we've been busy with
Kirk,
Kirk
you know,
and
and
shit.
getting rid of Dave and all that scene, you know. It was, you know, that took up a lot of time. So we haven't had any time to audition any singers.
But sooner or later we'll end up with him happy.
So Kirk must have learned the material damn fast, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I only noticed like last
He
night
picks up
maybe,
things real quick.
like maybe a couple times last night there was a couple rough endings at the end of songs, but I mean as
yeah,
far as
yeah.
the actual, you know,
I mean for fucking
structures, you know,
I mean we practiced maybe 8 or 9 days with him. I mean
Actually with us, you know, he played with
Yeah.
the demo, you know, and
love
that's shit, you know, playing off a tape, you know, I bet you, you know, 10 other guitarists, they'd all get the, you know, they'd all
Different.
get different things. They hear
Yeah.
it different, you know, it's just how you hear it. You know, you'll hear certain things on the tape instead of, you know, actually how it is. And then when he came in, I had to show him, you know, like, must have been, you know, a couple of things on each song, you know, just the picking and just, you know, small things that make it really tight, you know, which you gotta have, you know.
Yeah, but for fucking, you know, 9 days, it's real tight. I mean, for 9 days, it's
Oh, yeah.
tight, and, you know, after 9 months, I'm sure it's gonna be absolutely fucking.
He's got a lot of good material
Yeah.
too that we're gonna start using, and we're gonna be doing more like, you you know, harmony, you know, I'm not gonna be doing it at least, but you know, just the harmony, guitar thing's real brilliant.
Just stuff you get into, the more musical experience you get, the more writing. You tend to, like, when you first start writing and shit, it's just 1, 2, 3, bang your head, you know. But after a while, you kind of want to move on, and you know, right now, most of the songs we have in the fucking pipeline are like at more moderate speeds. You know, we don't really have any super Metal Militia speeds songs lined up. You know, just fast songs after a while tend to sound the same. You know, if you have, you know, 25 fast songs, you know.
Yeah, with double bass, all of them, you know.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah.
fucking song.
Acid.
Full speed ahead. This week.
Just, you know, fucking time changes and, you know, breaks here and there and stuff. Because, you know, if you play a fast song, like, I mean, I don't want to, like, say anything bad about Jackal or something, but, like, they do a fast song, and it's just boom, 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 boom for 5 minutes, right? But, like, when we do fast stuff, we try and have, you know, breaks and stuff, because it you know, it spaces it out more, you know, there's more room.
The more faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have a really fast song with a half-a-minute slow part in it, then the fast part will seem a lot faster.
Yeah, it kind of kicks your face again, like the beginning, you know.
And the next
Another
question.
toll.
Yeah.
So how's things working out with John so far? As far as
Not
the
bad.
working
Not bad,
relationship. I mean, naturally, 10 people living in a house or something, that's going to be a little bit.
Fuck, that practice place was the fucking worst. Jamaica Queens, fucking all black area. It was terrible, you know. You have to go in groups to the liquor store, you know, or you get, you know,
mugged.
or, you know, mugged or what. And the place was just a fucking armpit of a fucking place. No shower. We get
You know, most areas, like, probably until the Rockies or something, just, you know, like, from Texas and shit east.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Texas.
Well, really, probably your best areas, you know, like in the Midwest area would be like Chicago and Detroit.
And
like Ohio,
Detroit, I heard that
and some of
fucking
those
Michigan's
cities.
real metal. And fucking San Antonio.
I'd say Chicago
Really?
is much better than Michigan,
Really?
easily. Well, you know, I've only been to Detroit once,
Uh-huh.
but from what I've seen, Chicago is a lot. It's very similar to New York as far as the the bangers.
Uh-huh.
They may not be as intense as far as headbanging, but they're really into the gear and the patches and all that type of shit, you know.
Uh-huh.
But really, that's about it in the Midwest, you know.
And then
I mean,
there's
you're gonna
fucking
have-
Texas, right? I heard they're pretty
Yeah,
nasty
well,
on metal down there.
That's what I've heard, but I mean,
You never been down there?
never been down there.
Like
And
San
really, Texas
Antonio
is
or
so
something?
fucking big to
Yeah.
where shit, you know. I mean, I don't know. He's that fucking massive bridge.
Look like it. Where the fuck they are?
They don't have directions?
I don't know.
I really don't know.
Just gonna take it. So is this you guys' first time on the East Coast, or?
Well,
Playing,
mine.
yeah.
I mean,
Lars has
period.
been here.
I've
Okay.
been visiting out here quite a bit before, but this
So
is the
you're-
first time out here playing.
You were born in Holland,
No, Denmark.
Denmark. Oh, really?
Same thing. Fuck.
So what? Denmark's right next to Holland?
Not really. A couple of countries up.
Oh,
A couple countries up the block.
so then your parents?
You want one, man?
Well, then we moved to, my parents wanted to move to LA in '80, and I didn't really feel that I was ready to, like, live by myself then, so I was only 16, so I just went with them. That was right when things were starting to happen in Europe, you know, with the new wave of metal and all that shit. Then I came out here and was real dead. Real fucking dead.
So let me, just for the record, let me get down you guys' ages. You're
James is 19, I'm 19, Kirk is 20, and Cliff is the old man
21.
now. 21 now.
Big 2-1. He's a good man to have around in California, though. The drinking
Yeah.
age is 21.
What's the
It's nice
drinking
around
age where
here.
you're from?
21.
Yeah,
It's 19.
It's cool around here. The only good thing I think is the drinking age. 19.
Yeah.
They have weird shit like the
Oh, yeah.
liquor stores aren't open on Sunday, and you're not allowed to
How much-
drink alcohol.